This segment is sponsored by Legacy Wealth Management. As you get closer to retirement, the decisions you make and when you make them can have a lasting impact on your financial future. From when to claim Social Security to how you manage taxes to how your investments are positioned, timing can mean the difference between confidence and uncertainty in retirement. Joining us now is Jay Sharifi, the founder and CEO of Legacy Wealth Management. He's here to break down the 3 time-sensitive areas that, if missed, could end up costing you in retirement. Hi, Jay. Great to see you.
Yeah, thank you for having me back.
Of course. All right, Jay, having a plan in place for significant time-sensitive decisions during your retirement is incredibly important if you want to stay ahead of the curve. So what is one of the most crucial areas people should stay on top of?
Yeah, I think as you move through retirement, there's different triggers that happen. Perhaps Social Security, when you want to line up the last day of work. Should you access money from your IRA rather than taking Social Security benefits? And what we really try to hone in on is how do all of these things work together, and are there pros and cons if we turn on one thing before the other? I think the second thing we try to highlight for clients is that if you take a look at something in a vacuum and it actually has multiple layers of impact on everything else you do, then we're going to cut our nose to spite our face. And so, what's key to us is having a holistic approach as opposed to taking a look at Social Security in a vacuum, or perhaps if one spouse wants to retire a little earlier, making sure we understand the pros and cons of that. And so it's making sure that everything aligns and it complements each other as opposed to individualizing it and treating it just by itself. I
Yeah.
hope that makes sense.
Yes, that makes sense. And speaking of Social Security, we know that you have to wait until a certain age, but why does timing matter more than we might think when it comes to claiming those benefits?
Wonderful. Again, it comes back to, is Social Security your only source of income? Are you planning just for yourself, or are you planning for you and your spouse? Will there be enough upon the passing of the first spouse for the surviving spouse? I think it's taking a look at a break even analysis in regards to, do we have the health? Do we have the desire to take a look at those numbers and make sure that we feel confident that it might come to fruition? I think with Social Security, again, having a holistic approach as to how it can complement all the other parts of your retirement is what we really strive to achieve for our clients. And also, getting into things, making a decision is one thing. Making sure we understand how it impacts us on the back end is really, really critical, because anyone can turn on Social Security or perhaps their pension. It's making sure we choose the right benefit options down the road that'll impact our loved ones, which is where we really strive to make sure we understand and focus in on, so that that isn't something that comes back to haunt us down the road. Because at that point, we're more than likely a little too old to make any changes or adjustments.
So we really need to plan ahead. All right, let's talk about the stock market. Everyone knows that timing in the stock market can impact your returns, but how does portfolio management really change as someone gets closer to retirement, Jay?
Yeah, so the thing that really changes is that while we're working, we don't care, or we don't have to worry about distributions. And so retirement is all about distribution, whether you want to take a distribution or it's forced upon you once you turn 73. So the root of it is actually understanding cash flow. If you're entering retirement and there's a very small amount of need on your portfolio, well, then perhaps risk can stay aggressive and long term. But if your income needs, if your distribution out of your portfolio, as that increases percentage wise, you're going to want to understand that you're probably going to have to lean towards a more conservative approach rather than an aggressive approach, even though right now, with everything going on, everybody wants to be aggressive. It actually, the root of how you make decisions about your portfolio in retirement has to do with how much you need to withdraw. It has to do with your cash flow needs in retirement.
All right. Always a wealth of information, Jay. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I hope you guys have a great day.
Thanks, you too. The first 10 callers will receive the brochure, Will Your Money Last as Long as You Do?, as well as a complimentary portfolio review with Legacy Wealth Management. The number to call is on your screen. It's 877-650-4738.